little while since I've gone live, and I am on IG, and I am on good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening on IG and on like YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. And I know that I haven't been on in a few days. But August has been amazing. It's been amazing August, and we get ready for sensational September. And so certainly wanted to make sure that I got on here and talk a little bit before the month was out, because I said I was going to be on here almost every day. So anyway, lots of changes are happening. I know I was supposed to tell you about the great news. I'm going to be doing a show, so a radio show along with a few resident experts. Hi, Layla. Hi. So a few resident experts going to be talking about wealth building and how to win in wealth. But one of the things that I was able to figure out is that a lot of people do not know about finances. All right. A lot of people that make a lot of money doesn't necessarily mean that they are able to save a lot of money or invest a lot of money or know how to invest that money. I'm finding out more and more that some of the same things I didn't know, a lot of people don't know, but I was able to figure it out over the past year. And in doing so, it could have put a lot of people in a different position had they known about some of the things that I'm going to talk about on tonight. So I know it is Wednesday night. A lot of people are out and, doing their church services, especially in the African-American community on Wednesday nights. But I'm going to keep rolling on, and we'll see whoever shows and whoever catch the actual replay. So one of the things I want to talk about is annuities. So if you're watching right now, I want to know if you know about annuities. If you know about annuities, just drop, some fire in the chat or one in the chat, something, so I can know who I have out in the audience if you are someone that absolutely knows about annuities. And let me make sure I put this on here. So yeah, all right, very good. Now, so one of the things I want to talk about was annuities, because a lot of people know about real estate. A lot of people know about Forex, and I'm going to talk about each one of these. But annuities is something that a lot of people aren't aware of, but this is one of the ways that the rich and the wealthy have been able to pass on wealth, as well as they're able to have tax-free retirement income. So if you are ever wondering, or how does somebody leave? Somebody's always calling when you're on a live. How do people leave their spouses all this money? A lot of times it's an annuity, right? And a lot of times it could be a life insurance policy or whatever the case may be, but you can actually use an annuity while you're living, while you're in retirement. So it's like buying a pension plan. It's like basically purchasing future tax-free income that will never expire. All right. So, and it's one of the best things since sliced bread. And only a few people are still actually doing that. And it's very lucrative. So I did a few analysis with a few different people around how they could build wealth with that, in their 30s. And the average will make over $100,000 a year in retirement, right? Maybe not a whole lot to most people right now, but that can definitely help in the future if they're looking to actually, have that income. And so I have 3 different lives going on at the same time. So how you doing over there? How you doing over here? But basically, you'll be able to have tax-free income into retirement if you can muster up the money basically every year to be able to allow a bank to match you. The plan that I'm talking about is actually a plan where the bank is actually going to match whatever you put in, penny for penny. All right. Actually, I should say a third of what you're going to be putting in is going to be you, and then the other half is going to be them. So basically, yeah, let me just say that one more time. So basically, the entire investment will be 1/3 you, 2/3 the bank. So the first 5 years is basically you putting in 50% of the money, they'll put in the 50%, and then the next 10 years, they'll put in both your portion and their portion so that you'll be able to have that tax-free income in retirement. Now, retirement is not an age, it's an income. And that's what I always like to tell people, because a lot of people think they have to wait till they're 65. You do not have to wait till 65. But in the case of this, for the annuities, you do need to wait for 15 years in order for this to allow the money to build up and to allow the actual the bank to be able to match that money for you, so that you can have the money, like I said, literally for the rest of your life while you retire. So your retirement can be 65 or it can be 15 years, whichever one comes the later of the two. Okay. So basically that's the first thing I wanted to talk about was annuities and how you can make that money work for you by just simply putting away. So a lot of people go into investments like real estate investing, and because that's one of the more solid ways to invest. But annuities to me is even better and even greater because it's guaranteed. It's guaranteed to grow. It's guaranteed to give you that income until you pass. It's just like a pension. Okay, so it will never stop. Right. So and it's tax free on top of that. So I mean, it doesn't get any better than an annuity. If I had to start anywhere telling you what to put your money into for tax-free retirement income, it would be an annuity. So yes, do that. Look into that. Consult with me on that if you like. It doesn't matter. My goal is just to educate you tonight because I wish someone would have told me about this instead of me purchasing the homes that I purchased. I probably would. I know I would have gotten an annuity instead of some of the houses that I purchased because I would have had a guaranteed tax-free income in the future and no one told me. And so this is something that the rich and the wealthy pretty much know about, or people that have a really good, financial advisor know about. But I didn't know. So I want to make sure others know about it, right? That's the first thing I wanted to talk about was that. Now, a lot of people, they want to do real estate investing, because they know they want to have that income. Some want to do wholesaling, some want to do flips. I did the math on it all because that's one of the ways I was able to leave corporate was through having that real estate investments. But when I look at the time, the energy, the amount of people you have to get to do the average real estate investment, it really is a lot more efficient to be able to do it the way that I'm doing it today, which is through trading. So when I look at the time that you have to put into it, and it's a lot of time, guys, it's a lot of time. You really don't have to put in a fraction of the time to trade, and you can make more actually than you can in real estate investments, right? So real estate investments are more long-term and things of that nature. And yes, you can have that cash flow if cash flow is important to you, but you can also, do your own cash flow and still have that active income, especially if you're someone that's looking to flip properties. That's active income. So you have two buckets. You're either going to have active income or you're going to have passive income, right? Passive meaning that you are going to be a landlord and just collect the checks, right? And hope that everything is right and there's no issues with the tenant. So if you're going to do all of that, you might as well look into at least doing trades. Why? Because the average American landlord is making about $500 per property on any type of a passive income, right? $500. And in a trade, you can make that in like 30 minutes or an hour, and to think that you go through the procurement, the acquisition, the renovation, and then to having to look for the tenant to purchase to actually live in the home, to rent it out, to after you get all the the repair expenses, the utility expenses, the tax expenses, the note if you still have to pay a note on it, whatever. After you clear all of that, you still on average, this is a national industry average. Now mine was definitely higher than that. Okay, mine was at least $1,000 what I was looking for each of my properties, but it depends on the individual and where they're located. A lot of different variables play factor in that, but the national average is $500. So when you think about the national average of $500 and what you can make trading, it's just to me common sense to go after trades, and then you don't have to have a headache when you don't want to, especially if you're doing options. You can literally get into the market for an hour per day, 4 days a week, and be done with your trades and make more than that, right? Well, more than that. Is this up to you as an individual and how you perceive things to be? So that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure I covered, because a lot of people have a misconception about real estate investing, and it is, and of course, when you look at the TVs and the reality shows and all those different shows, they're going to be talking about different things that's going to be basically not so real. Is a reality that's not really a reality, because when you do it and when you have done it, you see all the ins and outs of really having to babysit a baby that has to be born in terms of real estate, especially if you're going to be doing a flip, and it's so many things that can go wrong. Not trying to be negative or to try to deter people from doing, going after their dreams, because I certainly went after mine. I certainly did several properties, things like that. But I just want you to know, realistically speaking, that there are some things that could go wrong, but you take out, and the same thing with trades, right? So you actually cannot win your trades as well, but you have more control over your trades than you would over a real estate and property investment, with all the market factors that can happen over a longer period of time versus a minute for an option trade, or for some few hours, or a couple days for an actual trade. Just apples and oranges. But when you look at how can I compound my money daily in the market, real estate is not the way to go, right? So it would be, of course, trading. Now, just trying to give you a quick comparison of why I came out of more so the active real estate investing space. I have properties that, of course, as a landlord, I'll keep and for that cash flow, but I would never go back into active real estate investing, with the amount of money that can be made in trading, and not have to, have to wait for somebody to purchase the property and things of that nature. So that's just one thing that I wanted to talk about, was just like how to compare, like what are the advantages and the disadvantages of the market. And so those are the things that you really should thank you. So those are some of the things that you really should consider when you think about real estate investing and trading, and which investment should you get into, right? So if you already have real estate, that's great. I certainly still have real estate. I think it's a great thing to have. You want to have a mix in your portfolio, but if you're someone that's looking to really do some, thank you. If you're someone that's really looking for the compound, to compound your money daily in the market, rather be 8% or 60% or 50%. Many days we make 50%, some really good days doing that, compounding your money. Then certainly trading is the way to go. Now, let me talk about trading for a second, because there's a lot of people out here trading, and a lot of unsuccessful people out here trading, right? And I've actually been one of them. I'm gonna be very transparent. I've had some really unsuccessful days trading. I've had some really good days trading. But at the end of the day, after doing this for over a year, I've decided that options trading is the better way to go for a lot of reasons. And I'll tell you two reasons why I say that. The number one reason why is because, options trading is not going to take near as long, not near as long. Hey, Jarda, not near as long as the traditional trades. So the goal is to try to get in the market, get out of the market, and do like Tim Ferriss has stated. He said the goal after the 4-hour work week, right? So you can have a 4-hour work week trading, guys. 1 hour per day, Monday through Thursday. This is what I'm telling my team. This is where we're going after. And it can be done, and people are winning their trades, right? So the reason why I like options trading is because we only trade one strategy. And when you learn that strategy, it's basically going to help you be able to focus on one strategy. There's thousands of strategies out there, and there's a lot of reasons why people can get confused, don't understand it, and so forth. That's the traditional way. I understand that way. I went that route, and it can pull your hair out, right? Like just looking at charts all day long, looking at your phone, and really having a high risk of a loss. But when you do the options trading, you're more in control, especially the way that we do it with the rollover, right? So you get the rollover feature. So you have 1 minute for your trade to hit. You have 1 minute to make $100. You have 1 minute to make $1,000. You have 1 minute to make 5,000. Whatever your lot size is, you have 1 minute to make that money. Either you're going to win it or you're going to lose it. And you have done all the analysis, all the work, all the coursework to be able to understand whether or not you want to enter that trade or exit that trade, or whether you want to buy it or if you want to sell it. You have the same opportunity with a traditional trade, but the difference is that the accuracy is way more accurate. That is what I'm seeing with the with the options than it is with the traditional, because of less indicators that you have to manage, less indicators, and actually less history that you have to go back and look at. Okay. When you start looking at the trend. All right. So the main thing to consider is that you're not going to have as much room for error in options trading than you would with traditional trading. Okay. You're going to get not only your financial investment, okay, your financial freedom, but you're going to get your time freedom. Okay. You're not only going to get that. So you got your time freedom. So you get your time back. You're not going to spend hours in the market, weeks and days on a trade, like a swing trade, All right. You're going to get in the market, get out of the market in 1 hour in a day. You're going to have higher accuracy. Okay. And that's giving you a recipe to make more money because you have more opportunities to trade. Okay. Instead of having only one or two trades. So that is the reason why I absolutely believe in option trading over Forex, traditional trades that a lot of people are really getting into or talking about. All right. So one of the things that we do is live demonstrations in the market for people that want to see it or even come to the training. And that's another whole thing. But the main goal I want to talk about today was just different ways to invest and how you can actually look at your different ways to invest. And so when you look at the different ways to invest, you can determine which one is better for you. So the things that I like to look at is, do I want to passively invest or do I want to actively invest? So I need another job like traditional trading, or do I want to just get in and get out like options trading? Or you're doing real estate investing, that's long term. You're doing stocks, that's long term. Okay. So that's totally different than short term, daily compounding your money in the market. Most people today, especially in this environment that we're in the economy, they need daily compounding of their money. They need money right now. They don't need to be waiting 5, 10, 20 years for that real estate investment to, go up in value, or for that, for those trades to hit in another day or a week. I don't know, for some people that's not too bad, but those stocks to actually make the money that they're going to make. Some stocks are moving faster when you have some inside information, of course, but for the most part you can trade consistently day after day and be able to make your money daily, compounding your money every single day in the market. And there are people that are very successful at it, just like there are people that are absolutely not winning in it, right? I believe it is how well you apply yourself in the market, as well as how well you study. When you show up, I mean, it's like anything else in the world. You have to show up for your own success. You have to show up to study. You have to show up to make the money that you're expecting to make. Otherwise, it's unrealistic to expect that you're going to get all of this money and you're not even study. Again, it's the more money that the more you learn is the more you earn. That is the saying. That is it. Note takers are money makers. All those things are true. You have to really get involved. You can't treat trading like you did high school or college when you didn't show up for classes and then think you're going to make money. It's just not going to work. I'm just going to be realistic. And I'm talking firsthand, right? I have had to study, and many people around me have had to study in order to be able to understand these trades and how to make the money in the market. It's like anything else. If it's one of the ways that people are making millions today, this is like any college degree. You got to go to school, you got to go to class, you got to show up. So I'm getting off my soapbox there. But I did want to talk about, there's young people that are making money in this market. There's teenagers, and so you can't be afraid to get in the market and trade because, scared money doesn't make any money. It just doesn't, you got to get your money involved. So that's one thing. But yeah, I mean, having a positive mindset is 90% of what it is with trading. Okay. The 10% is the skill. That's the easy part. The hardest part is making sure you get inside there and you actually going for the trade and you're not scared to place your trades and you're not thinking that you're going to lose a trade and hesitating and things like that. You have to get in that market and go after it whenever you're trading. And I know you hear me saying a lot of things biased towards trades because that's where I'm at today. If you had caught me 5 years ago, I'd have been talking about real estate, but I've already been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But now I'm into a season of just trading, and able to help other people to be able to understand what they're looking at when they're trading as well. And I'm even more excited because this week I literally just hung out, chilled out, didn't have to do a whole lot of training because 2 of my students took over. Right. So one took over Sunday night, one took over last night. Right. So, and they trained, right. So they talked about their wins. They talked about what they were seeing in the market was working for them. And they're getting anywhere from 7 to 9 to 10 trades in a row. Okay. So that means if their lot size is say $10 and they won 9 trades in an hour, they made $90 in that hour. Let's just use that as an example. But many times people they fear, getting in the market, they fear making a decision. And that's one thing I have to say. I am really disappointed by a lot of people that I've been able to come into contact with because I know as a young person growing up, I was the oldest of 3 siblings. So I had a little bit of leadership inside me to understand how to lead just as a young child. But I'm talking to a lot of adults that cannot make a decision. And it's really discouraging because the world needs more leaders. The children need more leaders. They need their parents to lead, and people can't make decisions a lot of times, or they go back on their decision, or they second guess themselves and they don't show up, right? And nobody's going to be perfect at the end of the day, but we have to grow up as adults, right? Like if you're an adult, like you got to be able to make a decision. Not make a decision about what you need to do about your investment. If it's a no, it's a no. If it's a yes, if it's a yes, right? Make a decision, execute flawlessly as much as possible, and live, right? And expect what you expect out of your investment. But a lot of people can't make a decision. They just on the fence. That's the first thing. Before let's not even get into the trading. Let's just talk about decision making. Because as a trader, you have got to be able to make decisions. You have got to be able to study. You have got to be able to be somebody that knows how to study, and can analyze charts really quickly and get in the market and make your money. Grab the bag and go, right? We don't want to make it a science project. We don't want to be double-minded. We don't want to be all over the place. We just want to get in, get our money, get our bag, and go on about our lives, right? There's too many other things that we all have to do, right? So I really just want to talk briefly about how, we just, when you're thinking about investments, you think about the advantages and you think about the disadvantages. These are some things to consider. Didn't want to be long. I just wanted to be strong. All right. So if anybody out here have any questions, I'm opening it up for questions. I know I'm looking at two screens, even though I'm looking straight ahead. So if anybody have any questions, I will take them at this time. And then I'm just going to get out because I just want to talk about those few points, talk about advantages, disadvantages, and, why you want to get into certain areas of investment that I'm actually into, right? So passive income versus, passive versus active income that you have to actually work for in terms of investing, or short-term versus long-term, right? I am more sometimes active, but definitely short-term right now because I've already gotten the long-term, right? I've gotten the stocks, right? I've gotten those set. They're straight. Got the real estate investing all together. Any questions on real estate investing, I can definitely answer some of those for you. I've done wholesaling, double wholesaling. I've done flips. So I understand that market as well. But I'm not trying to work hard like that anymore in this season of my life. I'm just trying to get in and play. It's like doing, like, people like to play video games these days, trading options and things like that. It's like just getting it, understanding analysis, and just getting out and getting the bag and just going. How do you create a realistic plan, entry and exit strategies? Great question. Okay, so a realistic plan. Realistic is so subjective, and it's really tailored to that person. So when we say realistic, it's like, what are we looking for when we say realistic? Like, how long should the trade take me, or how long do I want to be in the market? We say realistic plan. So I know for me, I was trying to get everybody to do what do you think of Fundrise? Oh, I don't really use Fundrise at all, right? So I've never used Fundrise, so I don't really have an opinion about Fundrise. But thanks for asking the question. I have no opinion about Fundrise. Yeah, but a realistic plan to me is based on your capacity, number one, right? So how well you can grasp that strategy that you're trying to do in terms of whatever investment strategy that is. So if you have a strategy, and you can come on live if you'd like. Let me know if you want to come on live, and then we can dialogue even more, and I can bring you on. But basically, if you're talking about, trying to have a realistic plan, it's really about good evening. Good to meet you. I hope you're doing well. So great to meet you yesterday. But you're talking about like a realistic plan. You really have to figure out, like, what's your capacity. Like, if you're doing real estate investing and you don't have the time to really do the research, the due diligence, for example, it's unrealistic to think that you're going to succeed in that space, right? Because you got to do a certain amount of due diligence, right? You got to, do your comp analysis, and things of that nature, right? And you can't make an educated or informed decision unless you do just that. Miss Chocolate, I have never seen you on here. How you doing, girl? So when I think about realistic plan, like, number one, you got to show up. You got to be ready. You got to be informed. If you're not there, don't even put your money anywhere. Don't put your money in any market, rather it be trading, real estate, or anything, right? That's the first thing, right? You have to do some due diligence. Absolutely. And so for me, realistic is like, get in the market, 4 hours a week, get out the market. Okay. That's it. I'm not trying to be in the market all day. That's realistic for me. Somebody else, it may take them 10 hours because they're still learning, right? So it really is about your bandwidth, your capacity, where are you at mentally, right? So especially for some people, like for example, if you're a person that's very emotional, maybe you're in a bad relationship, you probably shouldn't be trading because you can't be emotional trading. You got to have a level head. You got to be able to make some decisions without emotions, all right? Because you can mess your trades up, right? I'm just realistic is like, where are you emotionally? Where are you mentally? Where are you even spiritually sometime, right? Because mindset is 90% of trading, right? If we're talking about trading, just depending on which investment. If we're talking about trading, 90% is you having a good positive mindset, very, very strong, stable emotions, not emotional. Okay. Because I say if you having some issue with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, and you're upset, that's not a good time to trade. Your mind isn't clear, you're not focused, you're gonna mess them trades up. So you gotta be able to concentrate. And so yeah, realistic really is subjective. So I just want if you can give me more details in terms of what you mean by realistic. To me, realistic is about your capacity and then basically just applying what you know in the market so that you can be successful if we're talking about trading. So any other questions? I think we're wrapped up. It's good. This is quick. I'm going to get up out of here. And if nobody else have any questions, nobody have any other questions, I will do this again next Wednesday night. I am going to be going live on the radio next Saturday. I'm excited about that. So if you're in the Baltimore area, tune in WOLB as well as Praise 106.1. So with WOLB at 10 a.m. and Praise 106.1 at 11 a.m. I have 2 1-hour shows back to back. And so, thank you. And so that's pretty much what I have going on next week. So I've been really stretched, not stressed, but stretched, trying to get things done for that. So I'm excited. So we're going to have a team of wealth experts answering questions and having some great dialogue around what we need to do so that we can get these coins, so we can keep these coins, so that we can leverage our coins, so that not only us, but the next generation has the funds that they need, because a lot of us weren't set up for success. We just weren't. And so we got to make sure that if we're going to have children, or if we already have children, that they'll be at a better position like the rich and the wealthy are already doing. So that's all I have for today, everyone out there in Instagram. Catch me on YouTube or Facebook. This is probably going to be I'm not doing too much on Facebook, but I'm definitely going to be on YouTube and Instagram. Those are my favorite platforms to be on. So yes. But I wanted to make sure, because I accidentally pushed it over to Facebook, that I at least showed up over there as well. All right. Well, have a good night. Thanks for tuning in. And I will catch you next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Have an amazing rest of the week. And let's win on purpose. Because if you're not winning, you are sinning.